At some point in our lives, we have had a fantasy of cuddling with the white furry giants, but this real-life incident of a deadly polar bear attack is definitely going to shatter those dreams. Ice bears are solitary animals. It would not be wrong to say that their frigid habitat has made their hearts as ice-cold as their surroundings. They don't like being around each other except during mating season or when a mother raises her cubs. Their diet mainly includes beluga whales and seals. Although the hunting success rate of a polar bear is almost 2%, it is still ranked as the apex predator of the Arctic, mainly because when it locks onto a target, it does not let it go. The enormous size and strength also favor their hunting. Their thick white fur is so well camouflaged in the Arctic environment that they can sometimes pass as snowdrifts and are hardly noticeable. Polar bears tend to stay away from humans. They are not fans of the drama. However, in recent years, there has been an increase in polar bear sightings near human settlements, which has also led to a higher number of bear attacks. In this video, we are going to share the bone-chilling details of a lethal polar bear attack. What you are about to witness is not an exaggerated, made-up story, but an incident based on reality. It is the story of a heroic father who laid his life to protect his children from the Lord of the Ice. By the end, your fondness for the adorable polar bears might turn into something less friendly. Nunavut is Canada's largest and northernmost territory. It has several islands, one of which is Sentry Island. It lies in western Hudson Bay. Sentry Island is an ecologically rich region and is home to various Arctic creatures including seals, migratory birds, and polar bears. Arviat is the closest human community to this island. It is a small settlement with just around 2,800 people. It is known for its hunters, artists, and harsh climate. In winter, the weather is extremely cold and most of the land and water are covered in thick layers of snow. This is the time when the natives face food shortages. However, in summer the ice melts and the rivers start flowing again, which gives the people a fair opportunity to fish and hunt. They tend to store food and resources during summer and prepare for the long cold. Aaron Gibbons was a 31-year-old member of the Arviat community. He had 4 children, 1 son and 3 daughters. Apart from being an avid hunter, he was also a prominent member of the community. During the days of food shortage, he would hunt and provide meat for the needy members. He was an amazing father and a dedicated family man. His friends and family were fans of his personality. They described him as a patient and kind man. On July 3, 2018, Aaron decided to take his children on a little adventure. It was early summer, and Aaron thought it was the perfect time to take his children to harvest bird eggs. For many communities in the Arctic, harvesting bird eggs is a traditional practice and holds cultural significance. Moreover, eggs can also be used as a valuable nutritional source. But Aaron just wanted to spend a day out with his children, so he took them to Sentry Island in a boat. There were high chances of coming across the snow wildlife, so he also took his LR firearm with him. His rifle was fit for target shooting and hunting. He did not want to risk taking his children into the wild's territory without following any precautionary protocols. Sentry Island is almost 10 miles away from Arviat. It was going to be a long boat ride. Aaron's children were all elementary school age and were really excited about the egg hunt. As they rowed the boat, Aaron made sure his kids enjoyed the views. He was a nature lover, and despite the difficulties and harsh conditions, he loved living in Arviat. He wanted to pass down the same appreciation of the Arctic to his children, so he would often take them on such adventures. That day was also planned to be a fun new activity for the kids, but the events took a dark turn and led to a horrific end. The boat ride was almost 1.5 hours. Despite summer, it was still chilly, and they passed by multiple scenic views of the melting glaciers. Aaron also spotted a lot of slow-moving icebergs drifting in the river. As they reached their destination, the children immediately got off the boat. They could not wait any longer. Aaron quickly scanned the area for any threats and then let them explore on their own. He anchored the boat on the rocky shore and made his way to the kids. He gathered the kids around and gave them a brief overview of the cultural significance of harvesting eggs. Then he told them the rules of picking eggs. He did not want any birds to feel threatened by their existence, so he told his children to stay silent and look for unattended nests. He also advised them not to pick all the eggs and leave some behind for the birds. Apart from the activity, he was also teaching them important lessons about the ecosystem and food chain. After listening to their father for half an hour, The children started getting bored. He sensed the boredom in their expressions and let them go. Relieved that the science lesson was over, the children chuckled and went in different directions. They had made a little bit of their own decisions about who picked the most eggs. During his childhood, Aaron also used to go with his father to such activities, and he was glad to see his kids enjoying them. At first, he kept an eye on the kids, but when he realized that they were being careful of defensive parents and were following the rules, he spared them from surveillance. Moreover, there was no visible threat in the surroundings, so he did not even unload his rifle from the boat. Then he indulged in a mental voyage of his own. Being a keen observer, he got immersed in the beauty of the Arctic. In winter, it was all covered under thick blankets of snow, but now they could see the water running and some berries blooming. The all-white landscape was now softened by the green grass and vibrant wildflowers. Occasional sun rays cast a golden glow over the big mountains. The migratory birds were flying in the clear sky, which was a rare view for him. He was completely lost in the moment when he sensed a motion behind him. Turning around, he saw the kids running and cheering. He had asked them to stay silent, but they were kids. They couldn't be controlled much, so he did not feel the need to discipline them. Shrugging off the thought of any threat, he saw his children with love. But as he kept looking, he saw a white giant figure moving. It could be a snowdrift, but the weather was pleasant and there were no signs of a snowstorm, so he ruled out that possibility. After closely observing the figure, all color from his face drained away. A giant polar bear was moving in the direction of his kids. The loud echoes of his children had attracted the attention of an unwanted intruder. It had not noticed Aaron standing there yet. As the temperature increases during the initial summer, the ice bears tend to lay low. They rest during the day and exert minimal energy. Seeing the polar bear there in the middle of a summer day was unusual. It only signaled one thing, that the polar bear was looking for food. It was starving and would jump on any prey in sight to fulfill its hunger. Aaron could picture his kids in the snow monster's mouth, and the vision sent shivers down his spine. The only way to save his children was to put himself as bait, and that is what he resorted to. The bear had reached dangerously close to his daughter. She had not noticed the bear moving towards her, and it was not her fault for being oblivious to her surroundings. It was a skill polar bears mastered. They would silently linger behind the prey, and before their target could sense it, they would be under the grip of the bear. The bear's demeanor clearly indicated that it was in the mood for a hunt. Aaron did not have the time to run and bring his rifle from the boat, so he rushed to his daughter. While rushing towards them, he picked up small pebbles from the ground. That was all he could manage against a rival tenfold his size. He yelled at his kids to run to the boat. As the kids turned around, they saw the bear, and they froze to their feet. Their father's screams turned out as background noise, and the bear slowly moved toward them. They had seen bears in cartoons, but this one was slightly bigger and a lot scarier than the animated ones. After a minute of eerie silence and processing the surprise entry of the polar bear, they came back to their senses and heard their father. The elder girls grabbed their younger siblings and started running towards the boat. As they ran, the polar bear also started following them. Aaron knew the little kids were no match for the giant's speed. He hurled a rock in its direction. It missed. Then it threw another rock in hopes of distracting the bear. That worked. The bear gave up on the kids and eyed Aaron. He was bigger than the kids, and the bear thought he would make up a better meal than the little children, so it directed its attention towards Aaron. Deliberately becoming a bear's target is not the most heroic move, but Aaron knew it was either him or his kids, so he happily volunteered to become a human shield for his children. The angry giant took big steps towards Aaron. The kids had made it back to the boat, and he was relieved. He yelled at his eldest daughter to call for help on the radio. She immediately listened to her father's instructions and informed the authorities of the situation. The bear had almost closed the distance between Aaron and itself. He yelled at it and threw rocks to scare it away, but the angry bear did not budge. That is when he thought, if he could outrun the beast, he could make it to the boat in time. Before giving it a second thought, he launched into action and ran as fast as he could. He had one chance to save himself, and he did not waste it. If it was his fate to get eaten by a bear, he did not want to become easy prey. He wanted to fight till the last breath. Being the inhabitant of the land of snow, he had learned the art of survival from years of living in the unfavorable conditions of the Arctic. He had survived the most brutal weather and thought he could survive the bear attack as well, but he was unaware that the bear was not going to let him go. The boat and his 4 children were in his direct view. Hope glimmered glimmered in the children's eyes, and they thought their father would accompany them on the way back. That hope made him run even faster. He almost thought he could make it, but he was no match for the bear's speed. In just a few big strides, the bear was ahead of him, and then he was lifted off his feet by two giant paws. The kids screamed in fear as they saw their dad being attacked by the polar bear. The bear picked him up and threw him on the ground with full force. At that moment, he missed the snow. If there had been a thick layer of it on the ground, it might have cushioned his fall, but being thrown on rocks raised a sharp pain in his back, and he heard a crack. He immediately knew he had broken a bone. The bear was not bothered by his painful shrieks. It picked him up again and swirled him in the air with full force. Seeing their father in the tight grip of the beast was traumatizing for the kids, but they were smart enough to not run to save their father. He had risked his life to save them, and they did not want his effort to be useless. So they stood in the boat and witnessed the heinous acts of the white bear. They were seeing a polar bear for the first time, and this one did not set a positive example at all. It bit Aaron in the neck and threw him back to back on the rocks. He had lost consciousness. His daughter's radio signals had reached the rescuers, and they were coming for help. However, the polar bear was ferocious, and there was a chance that after dealing with Aaron, it would go for one of the kids. It might even accompany them on a boat ride, and that boat ride was not going to be fun for anyone except the bear itself. It had completely mauled Aaron's body, and he was now laying there lifeless. The family day out had turned into the most traumatic day of the kids' lives. Fortunately, before the bear could cause more harm, the rescuers had made their way to the location. They were horrified by the unexpected sight and immediately resorted to eliminating the danger. One of the shooters shot down the angry bear. The bear that was running a full show of its power moments ago was killed by a couple of shots to the head. The children were rescued. Thankfully, none of them had endured any physical injuries, but the mental trauma was going to last longer than anyone could imagine. They had lost their loving father, that too, in the most horrifying way. Aaron's lifeless body was carried back to his community. The natives received his body. They were devastated by the loss, but they regarded him as a hero. If Aaron had not baited himself in front of the angry ice bear, his children might have become the victims of the bear's attack. After the attack, one of Aaron's uncles said, "He died a hero." After 2000, this was the first bear attack in almost 2 decades, and it was bound to leave a mark for many years. John Main, a local lawmaker of the community, told a news channel, "It's just incredibly sad. We're a small community, and when something like this happens, it affects the whole community." One of the elderly in the community told an interviewer that he moved to the area almost 60 years ago, and at that time they would sleep out under the stars in tents and wouldn't even care about any bear attacks, but now the bear sightings have been increasing every year, and the bears are moving closer to the human territories. The main reason behind this is climate change. Due to the stark changes in weather conditions, the animals are suffering, and the food sources for the larger predators are becoming scarce. This leads the larger animals like bears to become desperate and lunge at any chance they get to hunt down a good meal. Polar bears are opportunistic predators, and they don't indulge in pity parties. They only hunt down prey, eat it, and then leave without any sense of remorse. Another reason is the increasing number of tourists. When people wander too deep into nature, the wild creatures also feel like it is right for them to visit the humans occasionally. However, their love language is difficult to understand for humans. The sad demise of Aaron really shook the authorities and the natives of Nunavut. Authorities made certain rules and administered bear safety protocols. The natives also took necessary measures to steer clear of any polar bears. Aaron's death was a sad incident in the history of Arviat, but everyone knew if he hadn't stepped up, the incident might have ended with more than one death. He will always be remembered as a hero for the Arviat community. That was it for today's video. If you have any such stories of thrilling wildlife encounters, do tell us in the comments below. Don't forget to like and share. For more such videos, subscribe to our channel and we will catch you in the next one.